Hey there, everyone. I am back with more comics I read this week. So, this week I've got four things I read here. It's four again, but they're much bigger this time. For the most part, two of them are bigger. The other two are normal size. But we'll start with the first one here, which is part of a bunch that I got recently because I was excited to find them actually, even though it's a single issue. This is Green Lantern Annual number 3. I think this is from 1994, maybe. I'm guessing 1994. It might be 93, but I'm pretty sure 94 was the year where all of the annuals were Elseworld stories. And this one specifically, I was looking for. I found like a huge chunk of all the 94 annuals though, and they were really cheap because like they're worthless. But they're not collected anywhere as far as I know. So this was the only way to get them. So I bought single issues, which I try not to do because I don't have a lot of space. But like Green Lantern Annual 3 was the one, it's like actually on the list I have of stuff that I really wanted. And here it is. But like Green Lantern Annual 3, the reason I wanted this is a story, Green Lantern story about how like the rings are created by Nazis. Nazis win World War II and kind of take over the world, and there's like this weird thing, and you've got like Hal Jordan is part of the SS and Guy Gardner part of the SS back here, and you've got like John, fuck, what is it? John, what's his face? Who is the other Green Lantern? I forget his last name at the moment. I keep wanting to say it's John Jones, but I know that's Martian Manhunter. It's just like, damn, I'm not gonna remember it. Whatever. He is like part of the, resistance part of, with like Green Arrow. It starts like a group called the Green Lanterns, which is nothing to do with the rings, but like, they're working through this, and the Nazis create a kind of power ring equivalent that's like a Sinestro ring, but it's built on like the souls of Nazis somehow. And then they make another one out of the souls of Green Lanterns. And Guy Gardner gets that ring. Hal Jordan gets the other ring. And they gotta fight. He is the other Green Lantern who's, fuck. It's like right on the tip of my tongue what it is. I don't know. I can't remember it. But yeah, it's a good story. Anyway, it's a short, it's like an annual, so it's probably like 80 pages, I guess. Giant size annual. I don't know if it's a giant size annual though. But like, this is back when DC used to do those huge crossover events with their annuals every year. And some of them were really hit or miss. There were some really awful ones and there were some really good ones. The Elseworlds annuals ones was a really good one. But there's like Armageddon 2001, which was terrible. And I remember buying all of those too. Like Armageddon 2001. And then like I liked the Eclipso. 92 was Eclipso, I'm pretty sure. So I'm guessing 92 was Eclipso, 93 was Armageddon 2001, and this was 94. That's my guess. And then there was like there was like another Elseworlds one that was like all based on the same Elseworlds, like Legends of the Dead Earth. That was 96, I think. I don't remember. But I got a bunch of these, but I only read one this week because I got them yesterday. But this is the one I really wanted. Anyway, next book we've got Batlash. So Batlash, you can see Sergio Aragonés does the art on this. But like, Batlash is a cowboy book. Batlash is... This is like the origin story for Batlash, basically. He gets kind of like on the wrong side of like this kind of robber baron type of guy. But he's like in love with the daughter, and the corrupt sheriff wants the daughter. So, it's actually pretty cool. It's a good story. Like, I like this art. That's, the art is alright. I like the kind of look of it all. But, generally, this story, it's like 6 issues, I think. And I don't know if there's more of this, but like the chances of me finding it are pretty low. So even if there is more, but this is kind of a story about him running through, getting in on the wrong side of the law and kind of losing the girl he loves to become a wanted guy, Lash. In like his name is Lash. I don't know if you it's probably not like as super famous. He's not like super famous, I'd guess. But Lash is nothing to do with Batman. He's not like a Bat character. It's just he's a guy whose last name is Lash and his first name is Bat. But his dad's name is Zeke Lash and his brother's name is like Bobby Lash or something. So like it's not like he's it's not Batman related. Something that is tangentially Batman related is this next book. This is 52. This is volume 1. So there's 2 of these, but it's a big honking book. There's 26 issues in here. 52 is like after Final Crisis, maybe. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are gone. Batman is like off retraining for a year after the events of Final Crisis, and Wonder Woman is doing something I don't remember, and Superman is doing something else I don't remember. But this like is a kind of a story about like what other heroes are doing during that. There's like a year period, so like this is like it was like a year-long story played out over 52 weeks, like at one issue a week for a year. In that interim where like there's no Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, so like it's kind of putting all different new characters into place. Like this is like the source for like the creation of the Infinity Inc. book that I hated, because those characters were in here with like different powers as like normal Infinity Inc. powers, because like he's actually Nuklon and stuff instead of like Double Trouble, who is an awful character who dies. Just terrible. But not in this book. This book is really good. This is like a lot of issues, but it's a really quick read. I really like it. I like you can tell the issues, like it's written by a bunch of different people. You can see that the names are like some heavy hitters at the bottom. You've got Jeff Johns, Grant Morrison, Greg Rucka, Mark Waid, and Keith Giffen. Those are all like pretty heavy hitters. But you can always tell who is writing each issue, because like when like characters like the Bulleteer show up, it's Grant Morrison, because like it's his character, right? And but like there's other stuff in here that's like Lobo shows up, and Keith Giffen is writing that. But like the main story is kind of about Intergang, which is like the dumb name. It's kind of like a dark side run kind of mafioso crime family across the world. Like there's Interpol. It's like Intergang. It's dumb. I mean, Intergang is dumb. The name is dumb. The story is good. But like generally, like there's it starts out with Booster Gold, who's kind of an idiot, and he's like doing stuff where like he's from the future, and he has like a robot with him that knows what's happening. But then stuff starts diverging from what actually happened. So there's like this weird time travel thing going on where like something is changing the timeline from what it was when Booster Gold was in the 25th century or wherever it was he came back from. So there's that story. And then there's like a story with Black Adam and Kahndaq, which is like the country that Black Adam rules. He's like starting a coalition against the Western heroes. Not really like a coalition against them, but kind of like an anti-hero coalition. So it's kind of like, if there's something that happens in Kahndaq, heroes aren't allowed to go there. Something, and like they team up with like China and stuff. So like if there's some kind of issue that happens in China, heroes can't just like go there because they want to. They have to get permission, or like they have to let Chinese heroes handle it. And that's the kind of thing. But like he starts doing that, and then like he gets Isis, who is like his wife, and Osiris, which is her brother. And it's kind of like a different kind of story going on, because he stops like the idea of like, like he shows up on television basically and tears a supervillain in half, and it's just like, this is what will happen if you come to Kahndaq. Get out. Don't mess with Kahndaq. And that's kind of what he puts forward. So like, it's actually like a pretty good portrayal of Black Adam, because like it makes him kind of, I wouldn't say likable, but like you know, he is trying to fight bad guys, right? But he's like a Punisher kind of guy. Like he's just gonna rip them in half and shit. So like it's pretty badass. But like then you have the like the Question and Renee Montoya. So like Renee Montoya becomes the Question after this, but then like that gets retconned back to just being the Question again later on. Like anyway, I've read the story of her as the Question. Look, that's connected to this that happens afterwards already, but I haven't read the second book of this yet. So like I don't know how she becomes the Question. It's gonna happen later on. There's also the story about, like I said, about Infinity Inc., where Lex Luthor is giving regular people powers. He's figured out how to do that. And, you know, Steel is here. You can see Steel. He's in there trying to convince them that, like, Lex Luthor is not doing this out of, like, the goodness of his heart. He's got a plan, and it's bad. So, like, you know, well, here's Lobo and stuff, for example. Lobo has become a pacifist, like, kind of like a church leader for these aliens. And, he's, you know, they kind of get Lobo to help. That's like, that's the different story with like Adam Strange, Starfire, and Animal Man are kind of stranded out in space and they have to try to get back to Earth. It's another story that's going on. There's a bunch of stories overlapping. Obviously, it's like a bunch of characters in here that are written by a bunch of different people. So it's just like a bunch of different stories that are somewhat interconnected, and came out over 52 weeks, and I've read the first half. Next week, I'll probably have the second half done. But, yeah, here's the final thing, which is actually a recommendation from somebody on the channel. I don't remember who, but, like, Multiversity. This is Multiversity, written by Grant Morrison. It's, like, various stories from the kind of multiverse. And there's a lot of really interesting ones, because, like, there's an overarching story about Nix Wotan, the Monitor, and he, you know, like, but it's like this kind of like meta story where there's like a comic book that is like seeping through the multiverse. So like the comic book will show stories that happen in the other multiverses to people in the multiverse, and then it's about like how the kind of comic is part of this kind of invasion of all the multiverses by these kind of creatures. Like they're like Lovecraftian gods or of some kind. But like, you know, so you'll go through the first story and then like the comic keeps showing up, and you know, they're like trying to figure out how they can form like a group from throughout the multiverse to stop this kind of multiverse invasion. But like it's cool because you go through and you get all these different stories. So you got like here, you know, you've got like this world where like, you know, you've got like Dr. Fate in there, and like Dr. Fate runs some like the Society of Superheroes. You can see it like, and there's like a kind of immortal man and stuff in there. And then you'll like move on to another universe, and it'll be like, this is like the this universe is like the DCU universe, where like there's no more superheroes, supervillains, because like the superheroes got rid of everybody. They did too good of a job, so there's nobody left to fight. So there's a bunch of superpowered people who like do reenactments and stuff, and then they're like just basically celebrities. They're like tabloids. They're like reality stars basically. They have the, you know, petty problems that they like who's dating who now and who is invited to this party and stuff. But they're like superheroes. It's kind of that one is all right. And then there's this one which was really good with Pax Americana, which is kind of like a Watchmen kind of story, but using the Charlton characters. So you've got like the Blue Beetle, and so like here's Blue Beetle in here, and he's like your Owlman equivalent or whatever from Watchmen. What was his name? And then like you've got, you'll see, you know, here is like the Atom, who is like your kind of Dr. Manhattan equivalent. He's even got the same kind of mark on his head as Dr. Manhattan does. And then you've got like some other people, like this guy is the like the comedian, and it's like a really good parallels to the kind of Watchmen universe. And then you've got this one, the Thunderworld Adventures, which is like Earth S, previously Earth S, which is like, you know, the kind of Captain Marvel family. it's cool because like this one has like a bunch of Dr. Savanos from all over the multiverse doing like crazy stuff. It's kind of it's brings back like the Marvel lieutenants, the other Billy Batsons and the Uncle Marvel, and you can see like Talkie Tawny is in there. Kind of goofy, but that's how all of these that's how Captain Marvel should be, really. It's a really good story. And then you've got like this. There's like two worlds that overlap each other in this one. This one over here, not the Captain Marvel side. And there's like these kind of like like chibi Batman, chibi superhero world. It's like the little Gotham comics crossing over with like this kind of futuristic other world. And then they like go into like, here is like, oh, here's all the universe stuff. Here's all the different like multiverse worlds. So you can go through it like it's a guide to the multiverse. And they kind of all get together. There's like, here is, like the world, a Nazi world where Superman is a Nazi, Batman is like a Nazi. They're kind of like, the Nazis won World War II with the help of, a bunch of superheroes. And it's like 80 years past that. And, they're not really Nazis anymore. It's kind of like, the imagery is still that, but like, they don't have the same kind of exact kind of they feel like Superman feels really bad about all the stuff that came out afterwards that he didn't know about, like concentration camps and stuff, but like, it's kind of already late after they already won, but like, it's that kind of thing. But like, this story is not about them. It's about Uncle Sam and the freedom fighters destroying them, basically like blowing up their stuff. And here's Ultra Comics, which is kind of the main world here, that the main universe that comic that's throughout everything is coming through from. So I'm not sure. I don't remember what the Ultra universe is supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be something like Image Comics. There's another one that's like Marvel. It might be that one, actually. I'm not sure. But then there's like, all of the Earths come together for the final battle here. There's like a bunch of, there's like Captain Carrot and stuff, like the wacky cartoon universe. So it's a really good story, but like, it's also good in that like each issue is kind of self-contained. Like if you didn't care about the overarching story about Nix Wotan and how he's related to like Earth Prime and stuff, like you don't care, right? It's not a big deal. But like each story is separate. You can just kind of read it as its own story. So it's pretty good. All together, Multiversity was really good. Whoever recommended that was a good recommendation. So yeah, I don't know what I'll be reading next time. I've got a stack of stuff, but like it's just like a matter of what I want to sit down and read. Probably I'll finish the second 52 book because I'm halfway through that story, and then I've got a bunch of other stuff. And plus, like it might be a little less next week because I've been spending a bunch of time playing Judge Eyes, which is great. So expect a video on that too. I'll actually make a game video for once. And yeah, that'll do it. So if you guys got any more recommendations, stuff I should be looking out for, stuff that's coming out in trade usually, like there's tons of stuff that I'm interested that's coming out as like first issue of a 12 series or something. Like there's another Freedom Fighters, Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters series coming out soon. I'm excited for that. There's like the new Shazam series I'm excited for, but what can I'm just wait for the trade. Cause what am I going to do with, like, I don't have room for trades, but like, it's easier to like justify having a trade than it is to have like a ton of separate issues, right? Takes up less space as a trade, but whatever, you guys know what I'm doing. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. So come up with some more recommendations if you got them. See you then.